If you're going to stick a needle in somebody, you don't want to stick it in an artery. If you're going to put bondage across, something, you don't want to put it across a nerve. You want to know how to tie somebody up safely. You want to know what normal anatomy is, or at least where most people's anatomy is. And that also involves a conversation with your partner. What's your anatomy like? What's your health status? Do you have a health condition that we should know about? If I'm going to do electroplay, but you've got a clip on your heart or some other electric piece, I need to know that. People need to be able to talk about what they've got. If you are hypoglycemic or diabetic or whatever else, and ask.
Avatar is a group of men who have come together to focus on education in BDSM, which is basically in the leather community, helping other people to live their lives in a satisfactory way without harm.
Is one of the oldest BDSM education clubs in the nation. They've been around in the early 80s during the height of the AIDS crisis. The primary mission is to teach safe, sane, and consensual BDSM. My name is Alan Strike. I am the past president of Avatar Club Los Angeles. I'm the only member who was crazy enough to take that position twice.
My name is Don Doyle, and I'm the current president of Avatar Los Angeles.
Don he just picked up where I left off, and in a lot of ways, Don has taken things further than I could have.
Somebody's going to have a hard time getting home tonight.
When you think about BDSM, there are many people who view it as a taboo or something that is, sort of strange and different and not in the mainstream, something that you should avoid because it's not good for you, or there are religious compunctions against it.
When you ask people who don't know a lot about it, you ask them what they think BDSM is, a lot of the things that they think is it's all about hurting people, violence, inflicting pain. Those are some big misconceptions about what it is.
We have learned as members of Avatar that those are sort of words that are put into people's mouths or in people's heads that frighten them off from an experience that could actually be very life-enhancing.
BDSM does not always have to hurt somebody. A lot of times it can be about intense sensations. It can be about getting into a headspace. For some people, it's just the act of submission, letting somebody else be in control. And it doesn't always have to involve sex. It can be physical, it can be mental, it can be sexual. So people, they really misunderstand what it's about.
What we try to do is to make the sexual part of BDSM a heightened experience for people. And more we're finding that the general public, especially the younger generation, is viewing things in a more open mind situation and looking at BDSM as a particular activity that enhances their sexual lives. And we are here to help them do those sorts of things safely within their own lives as their sexual play.
They talk about women examining their own breasts. Examine your own testes and stick a finger up your own butts. You know what your own prostate feels like, so that if it isn't feeling the way it used to, if there's a hard nodule in there, go get it checked out.
The people that we focus on are men, gay men in the Los Angeles, Southern California area. That's always been our focus. That doesn't mean that our meetings are not open to the general public, which they are.
And for the most part, the community is pretty open and accepting.
We're trying to attract as many of different generations as possible, particularly the millennial generation, because many of those folks get to see things in BDSM on YouTube or on the internet, and they don't really get a full understanding of what the experience is.
The best thing about Avatar LA is the friendships and the bonds that I've been able to build since I've joined the club. I've made some great friends since I've joined the club. I've met some amazing, wonderful men.
We have hardships, and we are together to give sympathy and to hold each other close, and also to learn from each other. And I value that. And I've had many friends within this club over a number of years, and I'm so pleased that those guys are here for me and I'm here for them.
If I'm playing with a top who's diabetic, I said, have you checked your sugars lately? Where are you right now?
But sometimes it'll occur, you're playing for a couple of hours and all of a sudden the person goes into a shock of some sort. And they act like they're crazy, because it's happened to me before. And it's like they're drunk, really.
Yeah.
And you really aren't sure, are they on something or what? And it's actually the fit they're going through from the lack of
Well, of course, you immediately end the scene. If somebody's starting to act weird anyway, you end the scene, you get them on the floor, if you can get them on the floor, and you get them some orange juice, hydration. Hopefully, maybe it's a blood pressure issue. I've had trouble when I've been tied up for a long time, and my blood pressure drops, and I just need to be gotten on the floor, and that at least helps.
Imagine that you're all tied up and bound up, and the person you're playing with has a heart attack. Yeah, that idea suddenly is like, holy shit. And so the idea of letting somebody know for sure where you are is really important, especially when the age cohort skews toward the population that's more likely to drop dead at any moment.
UCKYA